He's doing sort of the classic cowboy spray and pray. Now, this thing is the first generation of double action revolvers. That reload was... it's so quick that you can't really tell what's going on. You can pump and hold the trigger down and just boom, 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 boom. What's up, everyone? This is Kommander Karl, and I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of Gun Expert Reactions to Video Game Weapons. We're going to be doing Red Dead Redemption 2 today. Now, when I say gun expert, I'm not technically an expert. I'm more of a gun enthusiast. But I know enough to at least do the series. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, the Kommander revolver is based on like a Colt single-action army peacemaker. The production of these weapons was from 1873, and you can actually still purchase modern reproductions of them. Typically, you'll find these chambered for 45 long Colt, but historically, they've also been chambered for 4440 and 3840. It's kind of the classic cowboy six gun, you know, slow to reload, but the gun that defines the Old West. Okay, that reload, that was pretty quick. You really can't tell what's happening, but, you know, at the right side of the cylinder, there's a little notch. You push that open with your thumb, and then there's a rod at the end that you pretty much push in, and it will eject the empty shells. And then you insert the new one, rotate the cylinder, so on and so forth, until you filled the cylinder. So he's doing sort of the classic cowboy spray and pray. It's not really what it's called officially, but keeping your hands above, just right above the hammer, pulling it back with your palm, pull trigger, pull back with palm, pull trigger until you're out of ammo. Alright, next we have the double action revolver. Now this is based on the Colt M1877. Production of these was roughly late 1870s to early 1900s. It's usually chambered in 38 long Colt, but also 41 Colt. Now, this thing is the first generation of double action revolvers. It allows for faster shooting, smaller frame, but it is a more finicky mechanism. Alright, so let's go back and see that reload. Here he's doing double action, so he's pulling the trigger to engage the hammer. That reload was... it's so quick that you can't really tell what's going on. With another double action revolver, looks to actually be the same one. It's just got a custom like skid and a longer barrel. So now we're moving on to the Schofield revolver. This is literally a Smith & Wesson Model 3 Schofield. This is a 45, it's chambered in 45 Schofield. Also, you can find it in 45 Smith & Wesson. It's a top break design. The cavalry really loved it because you could dump and reload faster than like a Colt single action. It is, however, a single action only pistol. Now, let's take a look at the Volcanic pistol. This is like it's based on the Volcanic repeating arms pistol, production mid-1850s. It's a rocket ball cartridge, which is basically one of the earliest forms of metallic cartridges for firearms. It contained bullet and powder in a single metal-cased unit. It's sort of the weird lever gun pistol that predated the Winchester. I mean, it's a cool concept, but terrible ballistics. Nice. It's an interesting pistol. You can see it almost loads a little bit like a tube-fed shotgun. So it's got a tube-fed magazine at the top. You insert the rounds, the lever chambers the next round, shell ejects from the top. I thought the magazine was like above the barrel for some reason. That's actually incorrect. It is below, but he flips the weapon upside down to load it. Next, we have the semi-automatic pistol. This one's one of my favorite in the games here. This is based on the Borchardt C93, early Browning design. Production 1893 to 1899. It was pretty short-lived. The caliber is 7.65 by 25 millimeter Borchardt or 7.65 Browning, which is 32 ACP. Kind of a late 1800s leap into the semi-auto era. It's mechanically awkward, but it was pretty revolutionary for the time. I mean, this thing is effectively one of the first semi-automatic pistols you can find. This is the C96 Mauser. It's commonly known as the broom handle. It had a longer production life than the C93, and it's got an internal 10-round magazine, so it's a stripper clip loaded semi-automatic pistol. Now, the interesting thing is, I'm pretty sure this is a single action only pistol, and right there, when he fires the first round, the hammer is still in contact with the receiver. He should have pulled it back first. Once you pull it back and it goes forward, the slide would come back and pull the hammer back automatically. But That's a little detail I think they missed out on there. It almost looks like the hammer isn't even moving in the animation either. Okay, I got a little better look at that. That's pretty good. Stripper clip loaded, like I said, from the top. It's pretty good. I'll be interested to see what they dual wield is here. Let's have a look. Okay, it's a very awkward animation. I mean, it would be incredibly difficult to actually load these things in a akimbo like dual wield situation. So, all right, now we're gonna move on to rifles, starting with the carbine repeater. Now this here weapon is based on the Winchester Model 1966, also known as the Yellow Boy. Originally, the caliber was a 44 Henry rimfire, just later a 44 Winchester rimfire, which I couldn't tell you the difference, honestly. Most likely lies in the ballistics, but that's just my guess. Now, this thing loads in a very weird way. I actually don't fully understand. It looks to be, it's like a tube magazine, maybe? I tried to... Okay, no, he has like a little tube and it just rolls into the back. But I don't personally understand how rounds are actually cycling through this weapon. So let's start next with the Lancaster repeater. This is based on the Winchester Model 1873. Now, this was a pretty long production, like, this thing lived for a good while. It was in production until the early 1920s. Its caliber is 4440 Winchester. It's commonly known as the gun that won the West. It's known to be a very reliable and smooth cycling, and really a perfectly balanced weapon for the era. The sound is fantastic, as always. The animation just looks kind of funny, because, like, you can't see him actually inserting the rounds into the magazine. It's a 14 round tube fed lever action, right? And so he's just kind of knocking on it. It just looks like he's knocking on the side of the receiver. This is based on a Winchester Model 1860 Henry. Production only about 5 or 6 years, starting in 1860. It's a 44 Henry rimfire. Now, this is supposed to have a 16 round tube. So, much like the Volcanic revolver, the barrel actually, there's a portion of the tube that opens by rotating the little end piece of the barrel there, and you insert the rounds that way. But he's only loading like 5 or 6 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's funny. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So they got that down. That's accurate. It's a 16 round tube magazine. Look at that view. Okay, so this is a pump action. It's based on the Winchester Model 1890. It's just a pump action, or also like the Stevens' favorite, a single shot 22. It can't. I don't even see rounds. Okay, so you can see here the way this kind of works. It's really difficult to even tell what's happening. The bottom tube actually extends, and there's an opening where you insert the rounds. Good. Yep. Then you pump it, and then it has, of course, the bolt firing pin assembly, which actually goes back with the pump, and that's what pulls the hammer back. This is traditionally a 22 long rifle. It sounds more powerful than a 22 in the game. You don't need to wear ear protection when you're firing a 22 rifle. I've never had to do it. This sounds even just a little too powerful. So this is based on the Model 1873 trapdoor. It's in production for 20 years, and the caliber is 4570. Beautiful model, really well done on the textures. Traditionally, this thing actually has a pretty slow reload, but it hits like a train. It's a single-shot black powder powerhouse. It's a nicer reload, actually, I think, than some of the other weapons, but the sound's good. Sounds like a powerful 4570. So in terms of recoil, I don't know, all the recoil of these rifles feel relatively the same, which is something I'm kind of noticing. But they do a good job at distinguishing the different calibers via the sound. Okay, now we're moving on to the bolt-action rifle. Now, this thing's kind of weird. It's kind of like a Mauser Gewehr 98 and Springfield M1903 hybrid. It's not a weapon I would say exists. It's kind of a merging of two existing historical firearms. It has the same kind of hammer firing pin system there as the Springfield L3, but it definitely looks more like a German Mauser. Great detail. They have the firing pin coming forward. They actually animated that, which is wonderful. Definitely sounds very powerful. A German Mauser. Now we're on to shotguns. All right, so first we have the sawed-off shotgun. So this is a relatively small shotgun that, judging by the name, has a sawed-off barrel. It's a shorter barrel, doesn't typically have a buttstock. So that also means that there wouldn't typically be a buttstock. So this would be held just right out in front of you. These are designed for very much close range encounters. Let's see the firing here. Recoil is, I'd feel, pretty accurate. This thing, wow. It's got a hell of a kick. It's got a really good bassy sound to it too. And what I like here is this one actually has 2 trigger mechanisms, not just one. And you can see his finger actually switching to the rear trigger. So that's pretty cool. Here we have the long version. This is the non-sawed-off version. So effectively it's the same thing. Just it has a buttstock and a longer barrel. So let's take a look. Nice. Oh, I like that. So when the partial reload happened, he only pulled back 1 hammer. Great detail. I mean, obviously, that's not something I imagine Rockstar would miss. Now that was interesting though. Let me see the eject here. Now what I can't see is the barrel breaks so quickly that like I can't even see him using his thumb to move the lever, which actually is what breaks the shotgun open. I love hearing the echoing off of the distant mountains. Again, that's a really nice detail. All right, now we're on the repeating shotgun. Okay. This is based on a Winchester model 1887. It's a lever action shotgun. This is a breech loaded weapon, which means that you are loading the cartridge from the rear of the barrel, which is the breech, instead of from the muzzle. The animation's really great. You can see he opens the breech. There's a tube magazine underneath the barrel. When you pull the breech back with the lever, it will eject the round into the breech itself and then load into the barrel. You can see he opens the breech. There's a tube magazine underneath the barrel. When you pull the breech back with the lever, it will eject the round into the breech itself and then load into the barrel. I don't know if it's the first pump action shotgun. It's not the first one, I'm pretty sure, but it's definitely one of the most successful ones. This is like a classic pump. Slam fire capable, which means that you can pump and hold the trigger down and just boom, 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 boom. So it's rugged. It's a workhorse and still works even 120 years later. Nice. So when you pull the pump back, the bolt pulls the hammer back by itself. So boom, 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 boom. This is based on a Browning Auto 5s. These were first produced in like the early 1900s. This is the first successful semi-automatic shotgun. It's got a humpback receiver, soft recoil, and it's just pure early 1900s genius in terms of design. Nice. It does have that lower recoil feel. Very powerful, very boomy and bassy in terms of audio. To load that shotgun, it's going to take more than just inserting rounds in the tube. You actually have to pull the action so that the round exits the tube and enters the chamber. That did not happen here, so I'm going to dot them for that one. Okay, this is Flaco's revolver. This is basically just a unique Colt single action army that you get in the game. It's a unique cattleman, so you get it after like a special mission. Yeah, and this looks to be another variant of a cattleman. Nice textures though. I imagine this is another one you probably get after a mission. I didn't do many of the side missions in Red Dead Redemption 2. I've only beaten it once. John Cattleman revolver. Oh, John. This is Marston's revolver. It's nice and worn. It's got that rugged look to it. Looks like it has maybe ivory grips. Look at this. Okay. This is something I haven't seen yet. Algernon's revolver, which this is a double action or single action revolver here. Right. This one's inspired by the Colt model 1877. Nice. And it's neat because like you can see when he pulls the hammer back, you can actually see the firing pin. It's protruding from the end of the hammer, which is when you pull the trigger, that's what's going to strike the primer. It's a nice model. Solid animation, although I would say maybe a little more recoil. A lot of the weapons recoils in this game have been slightly underwhelming maybe, but still a solid representation. All right, Micah's revolver. So this is a Schofield Smith & Wesson Model 3. Man, look at the engraving. Canis, let me see what that says. It says Canis canem edit, which is Latin for suffering. I don't know, let me look that up quick. Okay, it's a Latin phrase for dog eat dog. All right, we got another Schofield here. This is Otis Miller's revolver. Looks like it's got ivory grips. It's gold plated or something, or yeah. And of course, like every Schofield, it's a top break design. So again, top break meaning that the barrel folds down and exposes the cylinder. Midnight's pistol. Okay, it's a decked out Mauser C96. Can't really tell what material the broom handle itself is. It looks like maybe a dark stained wood. Again, they fudged on that detail. You got to pull back the hammer. It's not going to just do it by itself. That's a single action only pistol. All right, rear rolling block rifle. I don't even think I've seen this yet. It looks to be identical to the standard rolling block. It's just like a rare variant, but functionally it's gonna be the exact same. Rare shotgun, so regular shotgun but with nice texture. Functionally the same. And with that, that's it. That wraps up for Red Dead Redemption 2. I really appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to Gamology for more series like this. Once again, I am Kommander Karl, and feel free to check out my channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. For now, Kommander out.